the arcade.
It's a kind of a blast of nostalgia that'll, get you hopefully in a better mind and a bit of a stress relief for things.
Stress relief until you set up a pinball tournament in your home. That's right, this bar in Tampa, Florida is renting out its old school machines for stay-at-homers. They have all the classics, Donkey Kong, Tetris, and let's be honest, these are way cooler than the games that are on our phones.
It helps connect with that inner child.
The bar says this creative solution is making them some money and giving classic gamers something to smile about. We could put a smile on your face too. No games here, but we do have a half an hour of fun for you. This is Good to Know.
It is all about just that bringing warmth and love to the community when people are stressed and isolated and alone.
So I've always been called to help others.
It's a sign of hope that we still recognize that all your hard work is not going to be put aside.
And then it's almost like, a miracle.
It's not like, it is a miracle.
Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Boach. This is Good to Know, sharing positive stories from all across the country. And we start in Tennessee with one man who's finding beauty after the storm, turning old memories into new ones.
In a garage in Wilson County,
So what I'm going to do now is shape the outside of it.
transformation begins.
Each type of wood is different.
At the hands of Bruce Humphrey,
Totally different. The way you cut it, the way it feels is different.
masterpieces are carved out of memories.
It's odd how eerie it was.
After last month's storms, Bruce saw with the rest of us what the tornadoes took.
Obviously the houses are gone, but the trees as well. A huge amount of trees.
But hidden inside these destroyed trees, Bruce saw what many of us might not have.
This is from the oak tree that I got from Lebanon.
An opportunity.
This was from the other side of Mount Juliet.
Since March, Bruce has been taking what was left of cherished family trees taken down by the tornado and turning them into wooden bowls.
I'm quite happy just to make something memorable for them. It's a hobby for me, it's not a business.
A hobby he started 2.5 years ago while working as a sales manager from home.
Yeah, just don't tell my boss.
Bruce insists he limits this to his free time only. But what a way to spend it. Spinning heartache into hope.
It's fun to do, and I hope they like what I end up making.
Check out this artwork. Disney characters, like you've never seen them before.
My go-to is kind of humor, so being able to look at something that's not ideal and with a little bit of humor can help you get through it.
The former art teacher outside Orlando, Florida, put a twist on some of the classics. She drew Sleeping Beauty hugging a bottle of Lysol, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz still wishing to go home, and Lady and the Tramp practicing social distancing.
I had a lot of neighbors come by and say that they changed their walking route to come by and see the drawings.
A creative idea to keep neighbors engaged. Now, if only I lived a little closer.
It just brings a lot of color to the neighborhood. And
It's a simple question with a billion answers.
The stuff we put in the yard posed the question, what made you smile today?
Rob and Lindsay Steele worked on this yard art with their daughters.
the stuff we use, we had around the house, which is kind of cool.
I did the lettering we both did the silly coronavirus cartoon guy.
Yeah.
While neighbors passing by get to soak in this creativity, now so can anyone with an internet connection.
It is all about just that bringing warmth and love to the community when people are stressed and isolated and alone.
Rob works for the local design firm Riggs Ward. They've launched a new project called Art-Solation.
We had been talking over conference call and how a lot of us had seen different kinds of art installations in people's yards and thought it would be kind of a cool idea to create a virtual exhibit for people where we could document these things and put it on a website for people to enjoy from their own homes.
The firm wants to capture any form of creativity kids or adults safe at home churn out.
Some of the people have repurposed their Santas, the big blow-ups.
And said, wash your hands.
Yeah.
All it takes is snapping a picture and then submitting a brief description through the Artsolation website.
It's really not about what it looks like in the end. I think it's just the fun of making something.
Lindsay, who teaches art at Glen Allen High School, sees creativity as a tool right now.
I think it's really important. It relaxes you. It takes your mind off of everything that's going on in the world.
No matter the answer to the question in their yard, the Steeles see Artsolation as a way for artists to inspire each other.
To be documented, since it's in web form now, it's kind of a time capsule where this stuff will always be up to appreciate. I don't know, I hope people are more inspired to continue being creative and trying to bring more light and love and happiness into the world.
A bookstore in Tennessee is popular with the tourists, but they recently found out how popular they really were thanks to their favorite artist. She put the spotlight on them and it's shining bright.
Imagine a writer finding a story in a bookstore. Happily Ever After meets sales expectations.
About 85% of our business is tourism. Franklin is booming as far as tourism.
Joel and Carol Tomlin have owned Landmark Booksellers on Main Street in historic Franklin for 15 years.
About 8.5 out of 10 people that walk through our door were not from here.
But when New York Times bestselling author Karen Kingsbury visited and then wrote a book called The Bridge based on them,
this holiday season,
then a Hallmark movie, their sales grew and their star power soared.
Joel and Carol have seamlessly, beautifully stepped into the roles of those characters. In many ways, they've been living a life that is, real life meets fiction for, the last 6 years.
They'll come in and they'll want our autograph.
They'll want us to
and
sign
our
the book.
picture, which,
Yes.
Our children find so amusing.
But the pandemic ended that chapter too quickly.
We went from doing, doing the business we were doing to doing nothing, overnight, literally.
And Kingsbury worried the Tomlins were in trouble.
Carol said they'd been on their knees trying to figure what are we going to do? This iconic store. So I thought, I'm going to help. I got to step in.
So last week, in a Facebook Live,
Someone Like You comes out May 5th.
Karen asked her readers to pre-order her newest book from Landmark.
I just said, hey, we need your help, and people jumped. You could find a less expensive copy on Amazon or some of these other competitors, but people wanted to keep Landmark open.
And then it's almost like, a miracle.
It's not like, it is a miracle.
They had $50,000 in pre-orders in 24 hours.
Every time an email would come in, it would ding. Well, for about 24, 48 hours, the email's just going ding, ding, ding.
And now it's more than $110,000 in pre-order sales.
That's the equivalent of us being open and doing our regular business times several months. So what she's done for us is she has provided a way for us to continue to do business and stay in business.
In her book, Kingsbury saved the characters and their bookstore from a flood. Now she saved Joel and Carol from a flood of despair.
We can save a bookstore, friends.
And she gives God the credit.
It's just so much bigger than us, right? I mean, when you look and you go, the Lord knows what we need.
Reminding us that we could all be that bridge, rewriting an ending for someone else who needs it.
Thank you again.
The best thing about Lunchbox is we're designed for the picky eater. So instead of saying, oh, can you take this off and add this, you just tell us exactly what you want. I had the idea of putting the old lunchboxes up just because I love the art for it, I love the color for it. I think it's just something that is, really just a blast from the past and just really cool. People come in and they ask if they're for sale. And no, these are art, they're for everyone to enjoy. So then what will happen is about 2 weeks later, that same person will come back and they'll be like, this was my lunchbox when I was a kid. It's been sitting in my basement for 20 years. I want you to have it. And they'll give it to us, we'll put it up on the wall, and then they'll come in a couple weeks later with a friend of theirs and they'll be like, oh, that was the lunchbox that I gave them. I think Right now, trying out a new place and a place that you haven't gone to before that is locally owned is the best thing that you can do. Because as we go through this, some local businesses are not going to be able to stay open. And if you're able to help as many local businesses as you can comfortably, that's going to keep those businesses open for when we get through all of this. Because it is local businesses and their local styles that really creates the city itself.
We love to tell you about people doing amazing things in their community, so that's no different with this barbecue joint in Indiana that's come up with some innovative ideas on how to get food to its customers with a drone.
At Grinders Deli, they're grilling outdoors.
We fill this whole grill up.
The business wanting to make sure customers know they're open at a time many small businesses are struggling to survive.
We've gone down to probably about 15% of our original business that we have. With the dining room being closed, it's just killed everything.
The owner of the deli on 86th Street is also looking for ways to keep his people on the payroll in an effort to keep workers and customers safe while practicing social distancing. The business has deployed drones to make contact-free deliveries. Once the order is driven to a home or a business, the drone operator, who is FAA licensed, drops off the food from several feet away.
The drone you see there can deliver a meal weighing up to 3 pounds. You hook it on. No drinks for now. The service is free.
People are really protective of their health, and we are too. And we don't want to come in contact, but we still want to serve them. We still want to feed them because they're stepping out and doing their work, and so we want to do our work.
We've got buildings over here. We've got apartment complexes, big houses that we deliver to, all these businesses around that we deliver to. It's the thing of the future.
In the past 2 weeks, the drones have made 7 deliveries. It's made people smile. It's kept employees engaged. And it's a reminder that while the situation in our country is up in the air, the future is just around the corner, ready to deliver.
The shelves at the NutriShop in South Tampa are full, but customers are down to just 1 or 2 going into the store each day.
Our business has definitely taken a big hit.
Tampa native Cody Durakovic started the business with his mom. He is a former football player at USF, and after college, he wanted to focus on health and wellness.
Supplementation is key right now with everything being so scarce, right?
A run on eggs created a shortage. Durakovic says they had a solution most people didn't know about.
That's one reason why we carry a product called Muscle Egg, which is 100% liquid egg whites that comes in a gallon jug.
The new coronavirus now forcing some massive meat processing plants to close. Millions of chickens in the Northeast are facing slaughter because there's not enough workers to process them, elevating concerns of meat shortages across the country, key proteins in most American diets. If you are craving a hamburger but you ran out of meat, some people may not know that black beans have about as much protein and they can be a healthier option.
There's this stigma behind supplements that a lot of people have, and people may be kind of scared of supplementation, and that's why we're here and we take a lot of pride in educating people on them.
A woman in Virginia is teaching forgotten life skills to help give back.
Press the foot a little bit. Let's get started. Okay, hold tight, hold tight.
A needle and a thread,
Hit the back button and go back.
along with a little patience, are 3 things you'll need in Miss Doris Taylor's sewing class.
Fabric is always hang off the side.
The retired high school teacher and designer is now showing teenagers how to create.
There you go.
These teens are learning to sew and give back after COVID-19 put a halt on their original plans.
We had set everything all up to have this great big fashion show, and they was going to make their own outfits until everything said zoom. No, everything is shut down.
Place this on the fold first.
The fashion show idea quickly switched to mask making for the community.
Slide it all the way out to the end.
And Elizabeth Charity is teaching the kids how to make a profit.
We got right many people in our churches and in the local community who's calling up and to get the mask done.
Charity says this is a great opportunity to learn entrepreneurship and meet an important need.
So we want to teach them how to budget, save, spend, and invest.
Catherine Kamei doesn't sew, but that didn't stop her from wanting to help protect healthcare workers and others in need during this pandemic. So she made some calls and took to Facebook and started the Superhero Mask Project, a collection of volunteers who sew and deliver masks across the country.
And I hope that the healthcare workers and other people that are out there on the front lines for us feel supported and know how much strangers around the country care for their well-being.
The Facebook group offers sewing tutorials, and if you're not handy with a sewing machine, you can find information on providing supplies or delivering masks.
We will match them with a facility. We either provide a drop or mail location because it can overwhelm facilities to get people just walking up offering masks.
There are now more than 800 volunteers who have sent out about 1,000 masks to 7 states, including Kentucky. Since the CDC recommended everyone wear a mask in public, having hundreds of volunteers makes it easier for more people to access and use this protective gear. Brian Atkins, an emergency physician with UK and one of the project's founders, says not only do the masks offer protection, it's helpful for members.
So not only are we preventing the spread of infection, but I think that there's healing and helping. I think that the opportunity for people to be able to put their hands to use to do something in their free time to create something to help others, I think that adds to your happiness and boosts your immune system. So I think it's good for all.
Showing you don't need superpowers to do a great deed.
Cheers to our country's heroes. Now there's a new beer that's honoring them. There's so much more that's good to know.